Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Last time I brought to you 10 things that I did want to see in 2019 for The Sims 4. This week I'm bringing you 10 things I don't want to see in The Sims 4. Now this probably is going to cause a lot of contention, but let's everybody, just before this video starts, just breathe. Everyone can have different opinions, and that's what I love about videos like this. I love hearing other people's opinions, so if you want something opposite to me, that's cool. Comment down below, but also it's a very subjective game, so with that being said, let's start. So, coming in 10th place is stuff packs, and I wouldn't necessarily say no to another stuff pack. I'm just ready to kind of leave stuff packs now, and I only want stuff packs that are really new and different. A lot of them aren't really that good. I'm just putting it out there. They're not that great. I don't want them. I don't really use most of them. I use a couple of things from quite a lot of packs, but I wouldn't necessarily miss them if they were gone. So I definitely don't want to see 2019 being very stuff pack dominated. Thankfully, I do think that we're kind of over stuff packs now. I do feel like the Sims team were getting them out very fast, and a lot of them when The Sims first came out, whereas now they're kind of more leaning towards actual packs that influence your gameplay rather than just the aesthetics of it, which we definitely need that. So I'm ready to say goodbye to stuff packs, ready to never see them again, and I would be honestly quite happy with that. In the same kind of breath, number 9 is celebrity collabs, because I don't care about them at all. Like Baby Ariel, she's cool, but I don't really, I can't even process my words because I just genuinely have that little feeling towards them that I don't want to see them again. If anybody else likes them and likes Baby Ariel and likes the collabs, then that's great. I never really use the stuff anyway. There's a top that says like, it's on us. I don't use that because I only like my clothes to be in Simlish. I don't like them to be in actual English because it kind of breaks the suspension of disbelief for me and kind of makes you realise like, oh, I'm playing a game. I say a lot on this channel, I like to live vicariously through my Sims. So something that influences it from real life kind of just turns me off a lot. So I quite like the whole distance between real life and the Sims. So celebrity collabs aren't really doing it for me. However, that's not to say I wouldn't like IKEA one. I've said that before, but I would welcome that very much so if it was IKEA. But as for celebrities, I can take it or leave it. And number 8 is kind of speculative. There's been no real promise of it or no real talk about it. A couple of months ago on Twitter, there was something going around. If I can find a picture, I will put it in. If I can't find it, I'm very sorry. Please forgive me. Create a Sim overhaul. And there was a couple of pictures talking about the Create a Sim overhaul, but for me, I really don't think it needs it that much. There's a couple of things that I didn't mention on my video that I would like to see, but as for the whole aesthetics of it, I really don't want Create a Sim to be overhauled because I really like how it works right now. That's not talking about the features though, because I would more than welcome an overhaul of the trait system and the aspiration system, but that's the system itself. But as for how it looks is completely, it's fine to me. If it's not broke, don't fix it. As for the whole system of it, I would welcome seeing a change in the trait system and incorporating a lot more looks wise, if fine. And number 10, 9, 8, 7. 7 is quite a controversial one because I did get a lot of comments on my last video of what I wanted to see in 2019 for The Sims. I don't want a baby overhaul. I mean, don't get me wrong, if babies were introduced into The Sims 4 from the beginning as not an object, because they are really an object in The Sims 4, where The Sims 2 and The Sims 3 they weren't, they were actually living, I swear a lot on this channel, sorry. Where in The Sims 4 they really are an object. But I don't really want that to change because I feel like there's a lot more things that The Sims team could use the time on than changing babies, because babies, even if they weren't in just the bassinet or cot, they'd still be kind of useless, and it always got really annoying in The Sims 2 and The Sims 3 because the Sims would always leave the babies on the floor and it drives me insane. And if in The Sims 2 especially, if they didn't leave the baby on the floor, they'd leave the bottle on the floor, and it just got really messy, where I don't think it's the best thing to have the baby just permanently stuck in a cot. I would like to see the baby in a swing chair, or maybe even put them into a high chair or something, or a stroller. I would love to see strollers. But as for an overhaul of having a baby in a cot, don't want to see it. And number 6, I kind of mentioned this in my unpopular opinions video, but it's cars. I don't want to see cars. I think with the way that The Sims 4 is made, it's not going to work. It kind of worked in The Sims 2 a little bit because you could get in it and stuff like that, but really for a couple of seconds of animation of your Sim getting into a car and driving off the lot, is it really gonna work? Where The Sims 3 cars worked amazingly because you could see your little Sims bippity bopping about the town and you could follow them and you could follow them on driving lessons. But in The Sims 4, what function are they really gonna serve? you're just going to zoom off your lot and then that's going to be it. You could zoom off your lot and do driving lessons. That would be kind of cool. Mainly the only thing for cars would be aesthetics wise with the buildings, being able to build garages and having something there like that, because that would definitely change it a lot. I'm still okay with not, because you can fake garages and you can fake cars. I'm fine with that. I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of hate on this video because I always see comments of what people want and I'm directly opposing it, but let's just keep it civil today, guys. Shouldn't say that actually, as my fifth one is preteens. I don't want to see preteens. The life stages that we have are enough right now. It does kind of go from baby, toddler, child, teen, adult, elder. That's how life is in my head. It'd be too much to create a new life stage. What would you put in it? Because it's too similar to children. It's not quite teen yet. What could be better done with this kind of thing would be to have a phase implemented through it, so you could start getting embarrassed and things like that. Kind of how like the phase is with the bear suit with parenthood. It would be great to have a phase where they start getting all these tween emotions or like preteen emotions, because preteens, when I was a preteen, I was unstable. That's the one. But I was unstable, so I feel like mood changes, that could come along with it. Maybe if we did get a generations pack, which I don't think we will because we've already got parenthood, but I think that could be a really good addition instead of creating a whole new life stage in itself. Because I feel like the other life stages need a lot of adjustment before a new life stage gets put in, so mainly just enhancing each life stage, such as implementing these like changes with moods and stuff, would be a lot better. This kind of thing kind of is implemented in Kawaii Stacey's Slice of Life mod. There's like little things like that. So if you want stuff like that, I will leave that mod down below so you can go check that out. And number 4 is creator style. I've said this before in my unpopular opinions video. I'm not that bothered about creator style. In fact, it kind of annoyed me. And I didn't think it did. I really loved it in The Sims 3. But now when I'm playing The Sims 4, I can't go back to The Sims 3 creator style, because I feel like a lot of the swatches we already have in The Sims 4 work well, apart from the woods. I would like to see a wood overhaul. But as for creator style in itself, it's not really necessary. I don't want my game to lag that much with creator style. The only thing I really would like creator style with is hairs and skin tones. I feel like there it could be a really smart move to implement, not necessarily creator style, but just a colour wheel. So then you could really implement whatever skin tone you wanted. It will completely eradicate the whole issues with skin tones in The Sims 4, because it has been an issue for quite a while actually, and there's been a lot of upset about skin tones in The Sims 4 community, which I completely understand because there's just not enough selection there. So I feel like implementing a colour wheel for the skin tones would be really good. And also for hairstyles, because my natural hair colour is not on The Sims 4. I'm not light brown, because the light brown is not really light brown in The Sims 4, but I'm not dark blonde either. I'm just kind of like in the middle, a little bit mousy. So it's kind of hard making a Sim self when you don't have your own hair colour there. So I feel like that could be a good one, especially for the more colourful colours. Pastels, you could implement pastel colours. They would be really smart moves. And we know that that can be done for definite, because we've got it with The Sims 4 cats and dogs. That would be the more realistic route to go down. That would please more people, because creator style would just cause a lot of lagging for people. A colour wheel for hair and skin colours would be a lot better. Number 3 is another one that people might oppose me on, is height sliders. I don't want height sliders. I used to play with stretch skeleton in The Sims 2 quite a bit. That was a cheat where you could like it says in the name, you could stretch the skeleton, but I don't want that to come back to The Sims 4. There's not much need for him. It would be kind of cool, but also it caused a lot of confusion. I think I feel like the more cohesive it is, the better, but I would definitely like to see some kind of disparity, is that the right word, between teens and adults rather than height sliders. Number 2 is supernaturals, and it's not to say I don't ever want to see supernaturals in The Sims 4, because I do. There's other packs I would like to see before it, and I do think supernaturals will come out more in the style of a game pack than an expansion pack, because we've already got vampires. I would just much rather university or something came first, or a beach getaway, because y'all know how much I've been talking about a beach getaway. That's what I want to see. Beach getaway and universities are what I want to see before supernaturals. Not that I don't want to see supernaturals though, so don't come at me. And then lastly, I kind of left this to last because I've been avoiding talking about it. Look at me getting a cup of tea for like reassurance. I don't want to get hate in the comments for this because it's not me being, what's the word? It's the opposite of inclusive. But I don't want disabilities in The Sims 4 that much. It's not that I don't care about disabilities or that I don't want people with disabilities to be included. I just think it would be a really hard thing to do, to represent all of these like Like, for example, mental health issues. I have autism. If I wanted to make my sim self and like make me true to me, I could replicate that by just purely gameplay. It's a very contested issue, the whole issue of disabilities. So I feel like to represent that properly in The Sims 4 without offending anybody or without making anyone feel silly or anything like that for the mental health issues, I feel like it's going to be a really touchy subject basically, and it's going to be really, really, really hard to execute well. I don't think disabilities such as mental health should come. I think traits that could kind of hint at it without explicitly stating like, oh, it's this and oh, that's that, would be kind of good, because you can have traits that doesn't necessarily mean you've got a mental health issue. So I didn't explain it too well, so I'm going to try and re-explain it again. But what I mean basically is you can have one trait, and then this one trait can be to do with people who have mental health difficulties, like, I don't know, bipolar, and the bipolar people might have this trait and it might be very common in a lot of bipolar people, but then people who don't have bipolar could also have this trait, but it doesn't mean that they've got bipolar, if you know what I mean. So traits that could be used by the two that aren't just exclusively for people with bipolar, it's just something that people with and without can have. That would be a good thing to implement. I hope I've explained that right. I feel like a trait to emulate that would be a good idea, because then you can live it without necessarily insulting any kind of member of society. I feel like that would be a better way to go about mental health issues. For more physical disabilities, I think it'd be something totally new for The Sims 4, but again, there's the issue of how well they're represented and whether it'd be offensive or not. But we've never had anything like wheelchairs or anything like that in The Sims 4, and I think it would bring a lot of variety and it would definitely emulate life a lot more. I think it'd be really cool. So I would like to see disabilities implemented, just not necessarily strictly saying that this disability is that or this trait is because they've got this disability. The Sims is very open with everything, like sexuality, for example. There's no sexuality in The Sims. You're just attracted to who your Sims flirt with, and I think it's best kept that way. It's up to you to decide what. The same kind of thing with disabilities, so you can kind of go whatever way you want to without necessarily having to. So I feel like that would be the best way. I hope I explained this right. I don't want to offend anyone by this, but it is a very touchy subject, so I hope I haven't. And I love you all. But that is 10 things that I don't want to see in The Sims 4 for 2019. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you agree with any in the comments down below. Like I said, one thing that I mainly love about doing these types of videos is hearing everybody else's opinions, because these are such subjective issues, so everybody else can have a completely different opinion and we can all talk about it. And I love it when people comment things, because I'm like, oh my god, yeah, I never even thought about that one. So please leave your comment down below. Let me know what you think, what you don't want to see, or if you disagree with anything that I say. That would also be cool to hear. So thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.